So I thought I'd do a video on why I bought a MacBook, specifically a MacBook Air, stupidly thin, etc, etc. I'm actually out in the middle of nowhere at the moment. I'm sort of out in the wilds of Lana, and behind me there you've got Falmouth and the rest of Cornwall, which is great. The sun's been a real inconsistent bastard today, which is a pain in the ass, and I'm wearing sunglasses because the sun's right up there and it's right in my face and I hate squinting. So, why did I get a Mac, and then specifically a MacBook Air? So there's really only two reasons why I specifically bought a MacBook Air, and then kind of a Mac, I guess, as well. Key of which was I need a new laptop. So when I went to London last week, I went into Westfield shopping centre and I just made the decision just to go and get a Mac because I needed a new laptop and I wanted to learn Mac OS. There was the two key things there for me. My Sony Vaio was a bag of shit, and the battery life's crap, and I just needed to replace it. It was too heavy. It just wasn't great. And second of which was I wanted to learn Mac OS, not necessarily from a working point of view, my current job, because currently we have third-party contractors that deal with Mac support, which is great because it means I don't have to worry about it. And at the remote site that I work at, we don't really have any Macs. We only have a handful of Macs, and kind of users know what they're doing because they use Mac every day, and that's kind of what they do. The only Mac sort of couriers we get are for students, and so they're not necessarily that high priority because it's kind of like a Windows environment, and Mac support's kind of been sort of takes a back seat, and we don't have to necessarily worry about it. Although that's a really crap position to be in from technological standpoint and customer service. But for me, as a technologist and as someone that takes interest in technology, I want to learn Mac OS to be able to sort of teach users in terms of, or give users advice on what laptop to buy, whether or not that's a Windows laptop, Linux machine, or Mac OS. And it means that from a career standpoint, from a career progression standpoint, it means I can support users using Mac in anywhere I choose to go. Currently I'm looking at trying to get work in London at the moment because that's where all the money is, although money is a secondary thing, but that's where all the money is. It's really connected, it's really close to everything, and that's where I want to move to eventually. So that's where I'm kind of moving towards, and to do that I need to learn Mac OS a little bit more. I need to get into Mac Server because a lot of things want you to have LAMP, and they also want you to have Mac experience, both server and Mac OS X. And the fact that the MacBook Air is so light and the battery life is so long is kind of another reason why I decided just to go and buy a MacBook Air as opposed to a MacBook Pro. The reason I didn't get a MacBook Pro is because there's probably going to be some new MacBook Pros in October. I needed a new laptop now. I didn't want to wait that long, so I will buy a new MacBook Pro when they come out in October. Probably that's when they will release it, when the new version of so OS X Yosemite comes out. That's probably when they'll release another load of devices. So I'll probably get one then. And if they don't release one, then I'll get a MacBook Pro anyway because I need to get a MacBook Pro for video editing on the go. Although actually the MacBook Pro, the spec on it, I mean the spec's pretty shit, but actually it runs things like Modern Warfare 2, maxed out really well, probably about 30 frames a second. I've not actually checked the frame rates on it, but really good. I could probably run SimCity actually maxed out on it. I wouldn't be surprised because I mean, it's got Core i5, it's a 1.4 gigahertz Core i5. It's only got 4 gigs of RAM, which is a bit of a pain because really I could do with more than that. And it has only got a 128 gigabyte SSD, which in all honesty isn't that big, but macOS doesn't take up that much space on the hard drive anyway, so you're not wasting 20 gig like Windows does on an SSD, so that's not too bad. Boot times are a bit shit, I have to say. Boot up times and shutdown times are really quite slow for an SSD. Whereas you compare that to Windows or Linux, and it's like instant. There's like boot up times are like 5 seconds maybe, if that. I know that's what I get on my Vaio. But yeah, that's kind of why I bought a MacBook Pro, MacBook Air. And I will eventually get a MacBook Pro sort of towards the end of the year when I need to go to things like the IP5 conference, and I need to be able to video edit on the go, I need to be able to video edit on the train, I need to be able to video edit wherever I am in the world, especially if I'm going to CES in 2015, which is what I'm planning on doing. So that's kind of why I bought a MacBook and why I want to get into Mac OS, and that's pretty much it. So apart from that, I shall catch you in a later video.